When I was a kid, the days were slower. When school would be over and the summer would come in, it was like a longer summer. Now the summer's so short, it just comes flying by, you know? It seems like a month only of summer, you know? I wouldn't want to leave the neighborhood. Always hoping that we never leave 7th Street, you know what I mean? I thought 7th Street would never change. I thought the lot would never change. You know, I thought that maybe people would change, but the lot would always be there, and the dragon would be there, and the castle, you know, would always be there, and it changed.
Ni pa' allá voy a mirar. La calle es una selva de cemento y de fieras salvajes como no. Ya no hay quien salga loco de contento. Donde quiera te espera lo peor. Donde quiera te espera lo peor.
Come on, come downstairs. Hey, you have what they told you? You're gonna get hurt in there. Get out. Oh, James is gonna get you.
What time's the last wash is, Baba?
Yeah, I'm Jose. I'm from the Torres family. We've been in this block since 68, I think it is, 67. We came to this block. When we first came to this block, it was way different than what it is now, you know. There was a lot of poor people, low-income people. You know, the apartments wasn't so expensive like the way they are now. The majority of the block was like Hispanic, you know, and black people, and there was white people, but they were poor like us, you know what I mean? They were living the same lives we were living, and it was, I could walk by the whole entire street and I knew everybody, and how you doing, this and this, you know, it was different, you know? Now you got these rich people moving in, you don't know half of them, and half of them don't even want to know you, you know?
Fresa y limón.
Ah, yo no quiero.
Yo
Uno
sí.
de limón,
Los dos juntos.
ligado.
Ajá.
Ay, bendito. Todavía de 50 están ligados.
Sí. Ay, ya, místico.
My name is Angel Torres. I grew up all my life in 7th Street. I remember when this Avenue C was all cobblestone. You had the old Jewish vendors with the push carts, and they would come out, sell fruits, figurines, clothing, shoes, you name it. They would sell candy by the pound.
So we used to hitch buses and ski. Like, were you skiing?
I ski, but not behind buses.
Oh, we used to do that all the time till I got caught. This lady was on a bus and she saw me and told my mother. That was it. Got my ass whooped. Hey, get in there. Hi. I don't see you, man. Where you been?
I'm okay, and you?
Okay, no problem.
Mira, él está gritando. Mira, él está gritando.
Home is where you grow up. I mean, I was born in Puerto Rico, but this is my home. This neighborhood is my home. I've never known any other place. I've lived in Staten Island. I lived in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn. And I always end up coming back to my roots. This is my roots. So it's, you know, it's I guess, you don't want to let go. It's like a baby not wanting to let go of his mother when she drops him off at the daycare. This is the way I feel about this neighborhood. This is like my second mother here, you know what I mean? And it's hard to let go. Now they're changing everything. All these, like this garden right here is going up. They sold it. So by next year, this is going down. They sold out to who? A private corporation. And that's what, you know, makes me sad, because they're driving out the culture from this neighborhood.
You know what somebody told me? They said I should close one apartment and rent it out for $900 or $1,000. And I told the person, I'm not gonna do that, I can't. They said, no, so you could make money like the other people. I told them, no, I pay $4.50 and it's okay. But eventually, you know, everybody's leaving, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe I'll still be here.
Where you gonna go?
Upstate to a house, maybe. But I want money
Not
too.
Puerto Rico, huh?
Hell no, I'm not going to Puerto Rico. I was born in New York.
Oh, okay.
If I do leave, I'll probably go to Virginia.
Yeah, you're a real New Yorker.
Yeah, I was born here, baby, in New York.
De San Juan. Yuti Barreto me dijo, ay, allí se goza mejor. Te vas a la fiesta de San Juan. Un verano en Nueva York. A la montaña del Oso.
My name is Luis Torres. I am from Arecibo. I came in 1981. At that time, the situation was terrible. Everybody was afraid to walk on the street. No taxi cab used to come to the neighborhood. The buildings wasn't in the best condition. People denied to pay the rent. No services, a lot of drug, plenty drugs. Gentrification and displacement is coming to this neighborhood. Perhaps I am the last one residing under this condition. You know, no light. No water, no heat. This is a place where only my rules and regulations are here. I feel more freedom. My dream was the independence of Puerto Rico. To do something about that, to help. We are a colony of United States. That time, United States was looking for people to wash the dishes, to do maintenance, to do dirty jobs. They used to transfer people from there, offering free transportation from Puerto Rico to many states in the United States.
Oh, that was free plane tickets.
Yeah, free plane tickets. And just to bring them to work in the farms, and they offer them to, you know, a better salary, so they decide to come to this place and make few dollars. They come to this country to have a better life, but the dream never comes true. Este es un sueño bonito, ¿lo ven? Este es el sueño de todos los inmigrantes. Este es el sueño americano de verdad. Y esta persona lo representó de una manera bien correcta y estamos muy orgullosos de él. Martin Luther King.
Can you say his name again?
Martin Luther King.
Es el sueño americano.
Ese es el sueño americano.
Gotta call Maureen. My name is Mac. I'm the doorman here at 190 East 7th Street. I've been working in Tompkins Square Plaza since it opened up in 1988. I grew up in this neighborhood right down the block on Avenue D. This is Avenue C. I grew up on Avenue D and FDR Drive and 6th Street. So this is still my area over here. The boys club is over there. I have a boys club by me. So this, for 30 years, pretty much I got around here.
That's your hood here.
This is my hood. This is my hood. I know every corner. Every in, every out, every corner. My mother told me something. If you live on this street and your house is back here, and the crime is here, you can walk around it. You do not have to be a part of it. You know, just because it's in this neighborhood don't mean you have to be subjected to it. Just walk around it and avoid it. But it never turns out like that because kids are curious. So that's what really made the neighborhood go bad. Real bad. They used to call this the jungle down here, Alphabet City. Nothing but drug locations everywhere. This was a drug location. Where this building stands used to be a drug location. Used to be called the laundromat. So it was pretty intense. And the laundromat is still there, but the participants aren't here anymore, so it quieted down. You know, every day, every night this went on. There was a long line of people in the street, like they were giving out food. It was like when we were teenagers, 14, playing basketball, that's when all the drugs came down here. 1985, everything, we were flooded, we were bombarded. Just drugs. Drugs were like free cheese. So to somebody in the community that's poor, and you find an easy way to make money, you go for it. So that just tore the whole community apart.
Llega la primavera y las plantas florecen, los pajarillos vuelan y canta ruiseñor, y yo aquí en esa cámara contemplo la belleza que...
My best friends, mostly all of them died. Wayne died. The killer killed himself. Cabo, his name was Cabo. They shot him right there in the face, right in front of this new building that's next door. Playing around, my friend Willie shot him by mistake and killed him. You know, playing around. Teddy they killed. They killed a lot of my friends. That guy in Santana on 12th Street they killed. It was just wild at the time. And then everybody started fighting over the drug war. You know, it was a drug war. Everybody wanted to make money. So people were trying to sell right there where somebody's already selling. People were just, oh, you want to try to sell where I'm selling? And kill them. People got out of control. That's what happened. Girls got out of control. The money got out of control. People making so much money, they just lost it, you know?
Oh, AKA, I didn't even recognize you, dog. Oh, shit, no doubt.
Goes on. All right.
Nah, guys, go upstairs, get settled in, man. All right. How long you said you gonna be?
I'm here till Saturday.
No doubt. It's on and popping tomorrow. It's cracking, don't worry. Just go ahead. Yeah, do your thing, all right? No doubt, no doubt.
Me llamo Alicia Torres, nací en Vieques, Puerto Rico, y vine aquí a Nueva York en el 1957. Después me mudé para aquí, para la calle 7. Los tenía pequeños a ellos y seguí luchando con mis hijos. Trabajé. Dios me ayudó a criarlos con una ayuda también que me dio el gobierno.
Do you go to any of the senior centers? No, porque no. What you can do, because a lot of times the senior citizens have blood pressure clinics. What you can do on these, take 1.5, 1.5, okay?
De night. Vi que era un sitio bien bueno. Ahí la gente pobre vivía bien feliz, ganando su dinero en la fábrica. Había una fábrica de azúcar, que se hacía azúcar ahí. Primero estaba en La Esperanza, en el pueblo La Esperanza, que fue donde yo nací, en Vieques. Ahí trabajaba mi papá. Y esa fábrica, pues, la vendieron. Y la desmantelaron, quiere decir que empezaron a sacarle piezas y cosas. Ahí la gente se quedó sin trabajo. Hubo unos rumores que iban a despropiar la gente, quiere decir, a sacar la gente de ahí, porque Estados Unidos quería hacer como una base ahí. Empezaron a avisarle a la gente que tenían que irse de ese sitio, de Playas Grandes, porque la central la habían vendido y no iba a haber más trabajo ahí. Y cuando la gente vieron que estaban pasando hambre, que no tenían un sitio donde estar, muchos empezaron a emigrar. Cuando yo vine aquí era diferente. Cuando yo vine aquí se vivía tranquilamente, el hombre ganaba menos dinero y ese dinero le rendía a uno para comer, pagar renta, porque cuando yo vine a Nueva York yo pagaba 31 pesos de renta en 3 cuartos. Y yo pagaba renta con lo que mi esposo ganaba, que ganaba una miseria. Pero yo hacía un saco de compra como con 10 o 12 pesos y lo llevaba para mi casa. Con los años empezó a cambiar, hubieron mucho fuego, muchos buildings los tumbaron y empezó todo a cambiar, pero siempre había una ramita, un grupito de los pobres que estábamos mirando y luchando.
But if you helping us, why are you putting that in front of that building? That's not even right. You're not supposed to. This is our property. This is our property.
Siempre tuve esta esperanza y no pude lograrla, de que pudiera tener un sitio donde yo siquiera pasar los años de mi vida, recordando mi país al ver lo que hicimos en el jardín. No pudo ser.
Now, we have to go to court on Tuesday. The court lawsuit still exists, even if the garden was bulldozed. It's become a big political issue around the city now, and there's an article in the Times today about State Democratic Committee is investigating the financial connections between the developer Kaposha and Giorgio Giuliani, and did that have any bearing on the bulldozing of the garden, which I think it did. But unfortunately, the garden has been destroyed, and I'm not so sure if we can ever hope to get it back.
Look at this. This was the only place we had left here to cook in the summer, have our little cookout sitting there, you know, we can talk, and it was nice. And now they build their building, they build their own little garden in the back. That's how rich people are, that they want to come over here, take us out, and then build their own little palace and take us out. After 20, 30 years that we've been there, they want to run us out and them take over. Because it's one of those rich gardens, you know what I mean? Not too much plants, nothing, it's just something so they can sit around, like a patio or something, you know, with the chairs, and they can conversate about only rich things, about stock market and how much money they're making, or who's wearing the best clothes or whatever, who's got the best cars. It's crazy.
23 years of my life was involved in that place, and now it isn't there anymore. You know how nice it was. You were there. we have to plan right now because in a few weeks it's going to be the spring, and Alicia Torres' building across the street is jam-packed full of kids. And where are they going to go when the spring comes and there's no more Esperanza for them to go into? I was a man with a mission. I was involved in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. So when I came to 7th Street, it was with that background. And so I regard myself from the very first as residing here, not solely to have a roof over my head, because I was interested in the people around here. And as I said, within a few weeks after I arrived, I had these little kids sitting in my lap and getting to know their families, which was my objective, to become what you would call a street organizer. I really had two jobs for most of my life. I had my job as a social worker for the city of New York, and then after that I had the rest of every day, up until midnight, and then every weekend, which was involved with organizing as a street organizer here on 7th Street in this neighborhood right around here. My personal life, for the most part, was the life of 7th Street. There was a period when there was years when I never went north of 14th Street for any reason whatsoever, for years. Everything was entirely revolving around what was going on in this neighborhood. And frankly, it was always a relief to get back to 7th Street, where you could live a life of racial integration which was unmatched anywhere in the United States, or I think, frankly, anywhere in the world, as it used to be in the old days. What's being lost here is what was miraculous for the American system, because it broke the laws, the unspoken laws of American segregation, which is traditional every place in the United States.
At least in half an hour. They destroy the plant. Everything. They don't have compassion for nobody. Giuliani don't love nobody. Giuliani love money. Only money. He don't care that the people suffer in the street. He said they're going to destroy the gardens because we need low-income houses. What low-income houses that the people can pay the rent that they want? No, how-income houses is the people right now is sleeping in the street. The people don't have place to live. It's for these people that he wants to destroy everything, for many houses for the rich people, not for the poor people. But we're going to fight all over. We're going to fight. If I have to go any place I go to defend Esperanza Garden because I miss my garden and the community too.
Your foods are better if you bake them or boil them. All right.
Yeah.
Ahora
So I'm going to the supermarket and everything.
Abre la boquita, espera.
Yes, todo está bien. Así lo pusieron en la televisión esta mañana, en la temperatura.
That's it, baby. You take care of yourself.
My life in this area goes back, I guess, over 3 periods. The first period when it was overwhelmingly minority poor families. The second period is the period of the collapse of the neighborhood. When we went through the cycle of almost urban guerrilla warfare with arson fires all around on every side. And then the third period would be the gradual and increasingly paced recovery from those disastrous days. For example, this building right here and that one there and almost every major building up and down Avenue C. I remember the days when they were full of families, and I remember the days when they were all burned out. This building right behind you now was a vacant destroyed building for about 10 years. Now it's all been renovated and it's functioning again. Maybe the best example is over there, the public housing project, a low-rise 3-story. I remember, let's see, I guess that was maybe 18 years ago or something like that. It's hard to remember exactly. When one night there was an arson fire, because all fires around here were arson fires in those days. And the entire area that you can see now was all destroyed, all went up in flames, all in the space of one evening. And a couple hundred families disappeared from the neighborhood overnight, just like that.
New electronic Hollywood Square! The Fashion Model Square. Agree or disagree to get 3 in a row. Agree X gets the square. Yeah, the big with 3.
I worked in all different kind of factories. First job I had, I made parts, was gluing parts for the Army. We worked in a basement during the war. And then I got married at 18. Worked in my aunt's factory. Yeah, we met in the factory. And then I went to a birthday party in Brooklyn, and he was there. And then, I don't know, from then on, I guess it just went going out. And of course, Italian people don't like Spanish people. You know how prejudice goes. Yeah. So I had my problem. I was married to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I made the Bride of December that year. Really? Yeah. Got my picture in the paper. I was in the magazine. Yeah. Crazy old lady made it in that time.
Did your family come to the wedding?
No.
It didn't?
No. Nope, I told you it was a prejudiced family. And we're the only ones that stayed together all these years. My brother's left his wife, he married an Irish girl. My sister married an Italian fella, and they're not together. And we are still together. Mister, you better not come to me and tell me you're missing socks. There's nothing matching. How am I supposed to put these together? Nothing matches.
This one is my parents' wedding, which was, I think, 1938 or something like that.
So here's two Jewish American families in the late 1930s celebrating a wedding. I grew up in areas I didn't know what black people looked like, any kind of minorities. Even when I was involved in the civil rights movement, I didn't know any minorities, even at that time. So I guess you could say I'm the black sheep of the family. Nobody else in my family ever did anything like that. They all participated in the segregation system of the United States, whether they think about it or don't think about it. And they're all basically pretty comfortable with that. I think my parents came down to 7th Street, I think perhaps 3 times in all the years I've been here. And that's about all.
I'm Emily Rubin, and I've lived on 7th Street at 219 East 7th Street for 20 years. I moved here in 1981, and I've written stuff about the neighborhood, plays. I'm a writer. I write plays and short stories, and a lot of my work was inspired by stories that I collected from my grandmother that were based on her life here in the Lower East Side. My grandmother, Rose, was born in this neighborhood in 1898. I remember the neighborhood a little bit from growing up, but when I moved here it was all very different than what I remember as a kid. Although there's still some elements of the older Jewish population, in the immigrant Jewish population in the neighborhood. I wanted a Jewish wedding. Not that either of us are very religious, but it's kind of nice to recognize that. And say with my father who has absolutely no rhythm at all.
Suddenly you discover mind trap.
A ver si Leslie está ahí, porque resulta que Sabrina se fue también.
Yes, bueno, sí.
Pero Sabrina.
¿Qué pasa?
Mira, esto yo no había fijado en esto. Esto fue grande, ¿viste?
I told you that, man.
Sí, después mira, eso viene de allá. Ese es el peligro es esto allá. Ese es el peligro que hay. Sí. No only this, es esto allá.
They've been working there like nuts, just power driving in there, and we've been trying to tell them, look, be careful with the building. Why don't you try to work with us and try to, you know, not destroy nothing in the building. They just, yeah, we know what we're doing. Also, and cracks stop appearing in the building and all that. Yeah. You know, we had to call the firemen and call the ambulance. Somebody said the ceiling fell on them. That was the guy that was in the front. The ceiling fell on him. And
the ceiling fell on him?
Yeah, like the whole entire part of the ceiling, like maybe 6 feet of the ceiling.
That guy in front of the building?
Yeah, Joe.
Joe.
And put a lump on him like that while he was sleeping.
The first couple of years that I was here in the neighborhood, it was a big housing movement, and that was part of a political movement that was happening here that was to reclaim places that were being just discarded as apartment buildings and reclaim them for people who didn't have a lot of money but had the wherewithal to put what we call their sweat equity into a place to make it a home. As we're making these places livable and homes for people, there was the first inklings of what I think is the basis for the gentrification of the neighborhood was that the buildings that had basically fallen down or had been burnt out by arson, the land that they stood on was still really valuable, and that was starting to be speculated on. Out of the stuff that was going on in the neighborhood, with one of my colleagues over there, Louis Guzman, he and I wrote a play called We Don't Want No Cheese, We Want Apartments, Please. And what that came from was that at that time, anyone in the neighborhood could go, there were distribution sites for food, but the main thing that was given out were these long rectangular boxes, about so long, solid brick of yellow cheese. And although a lot of people, I think, benefited from that, it was also felt a little bit like, oh, well, we'll give them cheese, and then that'll keep them quiet, or that'll keep them, they won't be hungry, so they won't notice that we're taking their land away. So I really saw that whole period of time of the population in the neighborhood changing and the value of the apartments changing, the attitudes of the landlords changing, really in the first 10 years that I was here. The second 10 years, things kind of like slowed down a little bit, and it's only in the last 5 or 6 years that there's been another boom, a housing boom. And apartment next door last year sold for, you know, almost $1 million.
When did Ben-Hur come out? Well, whenever that was, that's the last movie I went to. Now, I think then no, the movies were cheaper in the 50s.
Yeah, it was the 60s.
No, I seen it after that. Maybe the 60s, maybe. The year Ben-Hur came out, that's the last movie I seen. I paid 50 cents. I seen a Loewe Sheridan on 12th Street and 7th Avenue. And I would never go back to a movie again. I would never go pay that kind of money to see a movie. I wouldn't go. Oh.
Pierna izquierda. Saca un tiro centro directo al arco de esos que busca una pierna que desvíe la pelota para ver si provoca algún desaguisado. Viaje a la pelota al costado de su izquierda. Centro. Lo corta Heriberto Morales. La falta le favorece al equipo mexicano. 40 minutos. 5 y nos vamos. 5 minutos separan a México. La única victoria que daría en Copa América. Porque van 13-3.
I did all the things that females were not allowed to do. I worked on racetracks, I worked in bars, I drove a cab. On the track, they called me the boy with ears, or the boy with braids, because men used to have short hair, and I'd be riding the braids would run out, hang up behind me. So, oh, that's the boy. You want a responsible exercise hop? And get the boy with the hair. Me. I feel that I'm trapped in the system of many ways. Not, it hasn't totally got me, but no, because I still have my lousy little freedoms, but I have bought my freedom pretty well. But I'm very angry that other people can get over it, and just get over like young, healthy guys. And I can't without running a hell of a, a risk. I'm very mad about it. Not that I mind my job, and I imagine you have to work anyway. But for me to be faced with, well, if I quit, I gotta pay $2,500 a month rent. So what does it mean? I have to get 2 more jobs, doesn't it? You look at that big, nice big building. This sort of thing shocked my family in San Antonio, Texas during the war, because my mother and one of the guys had to stop there. They had to do work there for the war. And they were shocked. And shocked at my cousin and I seeing this with, excuse my French, house niggers, wetback laborers, and total white patrons. And this was how the buildings were then and in California. And to copy this, I've never seen the likes of this in the city.
You mean the building across
You know what? Yes. I have never seen this in New York. It has never happened here. There was always a stray, something or other. There was always some white guy working or some Polak being a doorman or a couple of rich colored people living there, always. Maybe it was more of one than the other, but it was always no.
To that extent, never happened.
Never. Where there's almost a line, stop. Yeah. Stop.
Vaya campeón, ¿qué está pasando? Ave María. ¿No tiene el diario? Oh, ¿viste esta pelea? ¿Viste esa pelea? Macho Camacho versus el Roberto Durán.
A little bit cheese and
Yo soy Acuario, el mejor. Tu vida amorosa se sacude para que puedas ver en dónde has fallado. Irás al encuentro de todo lo que hasta ahora te ha estado afectando. Y lucharás por tu felicidad. Superarás males de salud y tomas mayor conciencia de cómo cuidar tu cuerpo, alimentándote mejor, haciendo ejercicio y despejando tu mente. Número de la suerte 33, 9 y 23. No está mal.
Her husband Jack This is another one. Olga Benson's Hay, Queen's Jewelry Shop on the Benson Estate. Her working Korean. Yeah, they don't know where he was to the point of. He said the woman gave him a blank look and hit the gas. So Parker gave chase again and cut her off when she stopped at another intersection. By then, cops arrived and the officers, along with several passers, lifted the car off the car seat and rescued Miles. The boy escaped his ordeal with burns on 10% of his body, some of which may require skin grafts.
Wonderful.
He was in fair condition last night.
Thank you. It's a miracle.
He's in fair condition. He's okay.
That's too bad. God bless him.
What do you move this with? It's pretty. This should be washed by hand. They shouldn't put it in the machine. You gotta keep moving. Otherwise you're waiting for death. I'll be working till I die. When Hector was 3 years old, that's the last vacation I had. I like to go. I'm always in a hurry to get back home, so even when I go see Hector now, I'm in a hurry to get back home. I don't like going nowhere. I like to be home. You wouldn't get me in an airplane. Never, never, never again. That motor went on fire.
What?
Yeah, that motor. It was 2 motors that time. You know, you went to Puerto Rico, $45 a month. Yeah. And one of them went on fire, the one on this side. And they told us, put the baby between your legs and put your head down. If I could have walked across the ocean, I would have to come back. I never went in an airplane again. I'm not coming from up there and coming down. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die on the ground. At least you'll find me.
Yo parece no nada. No, no. No. El lunes me marco la ropa ahí. La ropa.
Ay, en la esquina.
Sí, el 16.
Is it today? Yeah, with the carro.
Dice una señora que el 16.
Venga, venga.
Porque el 16.
¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres, señor?
De ropa. It's Tuesday. It's on Tuesday.
El sol solamente es los martes.
Yo creía que era allí. Yo tenía casi una hora allí.
No, 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 está aquí.
Sí,
Pero a las 10, cada 10.
A las 10.
Entonces tienes que esperar.
Sí, sí, yo te espero. Voy a dar la vuelta. ¿Tú trabajas allí?
¿Sí?
Ah, pues dar la vuelta.
Sí. Mucho gusto.
Yo Jesús Vargas.
Ya él.
Sí, está operado acá, acá, los ojos, los platos, todo eso.
Sí.
A todos los días, acá. Acá.
Ah, sí, zapatos también. ¿Qué es?
Sí.
¿Qué es? ¿Qué pasó?
Los corazones.
Muy
bueno.
Entonces.
Grave.
¿Grave?
Estaba muerto.
Muerto. Y tú beberás con nosotros. Qué placer. Qué placer. ¿Ah?
Ya no hay mitad.
Entonces te volverás del cielo.
Sí, volví así.
Sí.
Estaba ahí.
perico ahí porque se fue directa hasta allá y se hizo
Ah, ellos están encima de nosotros.
encima del building de nosotros.
Hay que hacer algo rápido. Bueno, te digo, mami.
Ellos habían abusado como le ha dado la gana con el building de nosotros. Yo creo que usted, yo lo que usted está diciendo.
Porque nos llevan para allá.
Okay, thank you.
Que la pase bien.
Okay.
For a while, Alicia was sick. She was sick in the house and didn't come out at all. I always saw her because she was always in the garden, and I was too. But now there's no more garden, so she has a lot less reason to come out, and so do I have a lot less reason to come out. And my guess is my organizing days around here are ended. And the demolition of Esperanza was, I mean, I was already coming to an end even before then, and probably now is, that has sealed it. And I am just a resident of the block now. It's no longer anything at all like what it used to be.
Let me get drunk.
So how, I mean really, sincerely, how are you feeling, how are you feeling about leaving?
Well, this is America. This is America. Only for rich.
Did you find a place to stay?
Not yet. Not yet.
L'ultima bicicletta.
La última. That's it. That's it. Mira, Luis, mira, él está grabando. Tired. What is it? El progreso, mi. Say it's progreso. They want to build everywhere. Everywhere. They want to build. Yeah. Projects might work. All they're building co-ops. Co-op farms. They're not for us. They're for the rich people. We get nothing. Who can afford? You tell me you can afford a fee of $1,500 maintenance plus 250 grand buying in just to buy the apartment. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to me. And those poor people will be good. And you know what's going to happen? Eventually, I think what's going to happen is, look, people are not going to have that kind of money to buy.
Everybody
And it's going to go back to the slum.
The Spanish people have to
No, it's going to. This is going to become a slum again.
Dominican, Puerto Rican, black.
Mira, it's going. It's going to become a slum again. It's going to become a slum. You're going to see a lot of buildings vacated. People stealing the property. She knows because she's from the old school.
De septiembre notarás algo diferente de McDonald's. No es una reparación, es más como una renovación, una segunda oportunidad.
Have a pickup on the boom street.
I'm not gonna let nobody push me out. Nah, I'm from the Lower East Side. Nah, it's not that easy to push. Nah. We have a lot of pride down here. And how do I feel about getting rid of the lower class? I feel bad about it.
You consider yourself as part of what?
As part of lower class. I don't live in this building. I don't have a doorman when I go home. I'm definitely lower class. But that doesn't make me a lower person. Exactly. Okay. I bleed red just like everybody else. And how do I feel about it? How how do I feel about it? I'm lower class. I'll always be lower class. I know where I came from. I could get $1 million tomorrow. I'll be right down here. This is where I'm from. I'm not gonna move to New Jersey in a gated community. Nah, I don't need that. I'm used to this right here. So they can keep it. I'm lower class. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Don't matter to me. We have a couple of sayings in our lower class society, like, I don't need you. I don't want to curse, but blank you. You know what I mean? Hey, we live down here. We don't need you down here, and that's what a lot of people say about these new people coming in the community. We don't need you. We've been here all this time, surviving. We don't need you. You know? Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, I guess it took about 2 years from the time that, or maybe less than years, about 1.5 years from the time that the garden was bulldozed and this building went up, which is really a short amount of time considering how big this building is. They have to get these apartments built because there are people out there that need market value apartments to make their money back on it. I wonder now, at these times, what it's going to be like. The memory of what was there is still really strong, I think, for a lot of us. So it's sort of layered on top. This building's just layered on top of that. It's just weird to look through the barriers and see where it used to be the garden and think, I just think that rose bush that they pulled out and destroyed is somehow going to grow up through their basement still and screw up their plumbing.